Hello gamers, welcome back to another Zenless on Zero video. Today we're going to be looking at why the Zenless combat is so good. Yep, that's right. Uh, Title, obviously. Clickbaity, right? As always. But yeah, they put out this video of, another like dev insights video, and I always like looking at these as I am somebody who is, going for a game development degree, right? So, yeah, I just want to take a look at this. Because, well, for one, the Zenless combat is fantastic, right? And two, they actually apparently tease a couple of characters in here, and some other stuff. And so yeah, I just want to take a look at this because I thought it'd be interesting.
这是在录的吗？这问题一个比一个刁。
给音乐设计，
这个不会录吧？会啊，会录啊。那我重新说一遍。
我会让他
They're being a little silly.
更加
I
古
see.
灵精怪。
设计爱丽丝老师做的已经非常好了。
开玩笑的。
I will say it's kind of funny, but like I've talked about this before. And the Zenless team has also talked about this before, and a couple of their other like dev live streams. It's like it's a new team, like it's a bunch of new like game developers in terms of like the grand scheme of things versus the teams they had with like Genshin and the other games. It was like people that have been in the space for a while. And so it's just a bunch of like a young like a bunch of young dudes that are making Zenless. And so I just find it really funny, especially because the whole like Gunner game stuff. It's like I see why it's a Gunner game, right? Like, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool. The team's been through a lot, and they've done a lot of things that I think are very positive in terms of development, like being very transparent about the game. The multiple like dev updates and stuff like that. I find that stuff very very nice to see.
作为举区零的第二位
So Yasuo's gameplay design.
希望右叶是能够和佳音有一定区分度的，它能够给予。
So they wanted to be distinctly different from Astro Yao, yet they gave her the same 1,200 attack. But yeah, I mean, yeah, let's see what they have to say.
不同的游戏体验
There's your strategies.
同时
We also
我们也不
avoid
希望
making her
它太
too
专而是能够
specialized.
和很多代理人一起战斗。
Okay.
所以最后我们决定把右叶定位为整个
The general support for the anomaly system. Okay.
Let's show 'em
Yeah.
what we've got.
在正式开始之
They are
前
similar, but
我们
she's
会
obviously
思考
tailored
什么样的
towards
辅助角色
boosting
是
more
玩家
anomalies.
所
Yeah.
需要的。首先，辅助角色肯定能够对于其所归属的体
Enhance
系
the
带来
effectiveness of
热提
particular
升
mechanism or playstyle. This I can agree with. Yes.
那么，对于
Support characters should be doing that.
人来说，攻击力、增伤这些 buff，
Various of attack damage buffs from other
是可以
supports.
提供的。但目前
However, currently there's a single character that can significantly increase the team's overall anomaly buildup rate,
进而提升属性异常
leading to
的触发
increased
比例
trigger rate of
那
attribute
是不是
anomalies.
说我们让右叶提供一个全队异常继续效率提升
Yeah.
的 buff 就可以了呢？但仔细
Pretty
想
much
一下
that.，
这其实是不够的。紊乱是目前异常队伍非常重要的出伤机制，而能够持续触发紊乱的最佳状态
Continuously
其实是
trigger
两种
disorder that actually requires building up the anomaly gauge. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty. I think it's pretty simple, all things considered. Like you make Astro Yao, who is focused on, crit chain attacks. That's going to benefit the characters that actually build crit, but the characters that don't build crit, the characters that are going to, build up, like the anomaly to do, these big procs of damage. Yeah, you would need something that obviously help that out.
不同的属性异常机遇效率相同。然而在实战中，我们会发现绝区零的现有角色之间，他们的异常积蓄速度其实是有一定差异的，在配对
Yes.
中很难达到最佳配平。
Dude, okay, some characters like Jane just don't build up enough, and they designed her like that, obviously. Jane's one of the characters I think that does need like a buff, all things considered. And it's not just in the anomaly build-up department. I mean, obviously Yasuo is going to help with that, right? Her being physical and having increased build-up for the team. But like Piper's one of the characters who has an insane amount of build-up, right? Her build-up is so fast that she runs into ICD because there's a 3-second ICD to where you can't apply another anomaly of the same type or do a disorder, right? Piper's the only character that like actively just like always hits that because of how fast she builds up. And so her having the extra build-up rate isn't doing nearly as much as it is for the other anomaly characters that exist in the game. And so this is something that is that they are trying to balance. And Yasuo is very much like wanted by the other characters, especially because there is a increase in build-up resistance. The more and more you proc it, which I think it decays over time. I could be wrong about that. I have to look up the numbers again, but yeah, this is something that is much wanted by a lot of units.
从而最大化输出。顺着这个思路，我们确认了右叶的核心特性应该是定向提升代理人的异常技术效率。同时，我们一定要把这个机制做得有趣，做得不生硬，能够拓展玩家的策略维度。最后，通过不断的讨论和迭代，我们决定来做染色，
matching the element，
把选择权交给玩家。 让玩家自由地决定在什么样的战斗情况下，让哪一位角色的异常积蓄效率提升。综合来看，我觉得右叶是一个在策略维度上
It's a super fun support agent when it comes to playing around with strategies that proxies can experience for themselves. Oh, I will have fun pulling for a very powerful support. Always. Having characters be strong is fun. What's the biggest... Wait, I want to read that. What is the biggest challenge faced during the actual production process?
我心中最大的挑战其实是怎么把右叶的机制用一种高光的形式表现出来。
When it comes to the presentation, okay, so the visuals, huh?
我看到这个角色的一瞬间，脑海中闪过的他最好看、最吸引人的一个剪影或者 pose。当时我看到右叶的伞上有很多的利刃，于是我就想到把这些利刃能不能穿插到敌人身上，然后通过一个帅气的招式拔出这些刀刃来。
That is so like descriptively violent, like stabbing somebody with a pointy umbrella and just ripping it out so like scars them. Like what the hell?
给敌人留下伤痕，以此来形成强烈的辅助效果。那么我们团队内部给这个机制呈现起名代号为 Scar， 即
Scar。
团队其实一直在按照这个制作方向往前推进，但是在测试阶段我们还是遇到了一些困难。基于右叶的设定，我们制作了它从伞中发射出的短刀，
Shoot from her umbrella.
是狸猫的利爪，或者说
That is Tanuki claws.
是忍者的苦。
Oh, that is yo. Wait, what? Wait, that's actually sick.
的短刀，它其实更像是狸猫的利爪，或者说是忍者的苦无这种。
Yo, okay, I'm not gonna lie. Listen, y'all showed me it. I low-key want it now. Wait, road with potholes? Weird dev listings, but I mean, yeah, this is a cool environment.
感觉它不是很长很大的那种尖刺。
I think that's sick, I'm not gonna lie.
刀刃插在一些非常大体型的敌人身上，效
It
果
won't be obvious on large
另外
enemies.
收回短刀的动作表现也
That sounds exactly like a piece of feedback they got from building Soldier Zero Ambi. A lot of people I saw online talk about how it was hard to or annoying to play Ambi because they couldn't see her little like silver marks. I forget what they're called. Which funny.
没有达到我们最初预想的高光画面。我觉得如果
I think that's pretty cool though. I would have been fine with that.
本身都不够满意的话，那一定是没有办法打动玩家。
Players won't be
于是
impressed.
我们就
Fair
调
enough.
转船头，去想新的设计思路啦。
旧的方案被推翻后，我们整个制作团队一直在密切讨论新的想法。虽然时间其实是
That pose has so much aura.
挺紧张的，但是大家都不肯妥协，一直在搜寻表现效果明显又有角色个性的呈现形式。就在这个时候，原画同学提供了一个灵感，将伤痕和
Find the
糖果的
presentation of
表现
wounds
形
and
式相结
candies.
合我们一下子就觉得这是我们想要的，因为糖果本身就是右叶常用于恶作剧的道具。 能够在战斗中出现糖果的意象。
Picture having the silver candy appeal during combat, the visual effects are also more noticeable and can effectively solve the previous issues. Thus we decided to keep the original effect of leaving wounds, but adapted to having candy explode out of the enemies instead. Art team really came through and quickly designed 5 different effects based on that different attributes. Then this we created 5 different set of special effects, hitting 4 or 5 element types of food. To align with the physical attribute.
染上物理属性的伤痕后，身上会爆出饼干、
Cookies pieces matching. Oh, that's
曲
cool.
奇等符
Ah, I see, I see. So different candies based on the element. That's cool.
也会有各自对应的食物或者糖果特效，柚叶古灵精怪的感觉一下子
She's
就体
quirky?
现出来了。
柚叶的实际制作
I think she's a little more than
是经历了
quirky. I think she's a
非常
little
多的
insane.
变迁和调整的。光我这里的策划方案就有整整5版，其中有3版都是完全不同的制作方向。柚叶的核心机制染色从最初到现在
Hasn't changed at all. Yeah, her being. I do think it's really cool that they made a character that's like rainbow element. In Zenless, it works pretty well. In the other Hoyo games, like this is something that people would want. Like people would hope it's really cool. But in the other Hoyo games, it's sort of balanced around the fact that those characters are that particular element, and that there is a difference. Like in Genshin Impact, that would kind of break, and that character would inherently have more value. There would be problems of having like multiple elements, right? Now, manipulating elements is something that Genshin Impact can go in a design direction to make it more interesting, for example. But having a character like multi-class would be a bit different. But with this game, having a character adapt to the element to help build up the particular element can actually work, right? So I do think this is pretty cool. I mean, maybe they could do something similar in Zenless and not have it like fundamentally break the element system. But yeah, I do think this is a pretty cool design, all things considered, that works well with the current game systems, right?
最开始的拔出利刃，留下伤痕，变成了现在的糖果炸弹，食物迸发。我觉得在坚持角色的核心机制的前提下，尝试用不同的表现形式来承载机制，
Unique personality of robbing people in the street.
中既有挑战又非常有趣的一环。就像 Scar， 它早已不再是它的字面意思，但却以另一种甜甜的方式保留了下来。
A sweeter manner, I get it.
其实并不会的。
It wasn't easier to make your animations.
比我们正常角色的动作要少。比如呢，柚叶是我们第一个拥有双支援突击的一个角色，可能现在很多玩家还没有注意到这个小细节。
Double assist follow-ups?
我们绝区零制作组的一个制作。
Oh yeah.
无论是什么角色，只要能够提升他的战斗爽感，能挖掘他动作潜力的尝试，那我们都会愿意去做。再举个例子，柚叶许多招式的镜头
Specifically customized.
比如说他的强化。
Our dev team an entire afternoon and countless hours making minute adjustments or minute adjustments frame by frame. That's crazy.
反反复复的调整出来的，只为了柚叶最终跳起来的时候，跃向玩家的时候，这个画面是可爱的、俏皮的，能让玩家觉得这就是柚叶。此外，还有一个小家伙给我们制作过程中带来了很多的困难，那就是柚叶的狸猫。
So they had a hard time in including the Tanuki dude alongside of it. Yeah, I mean, obviously they have to, split the animation between two different entities, right? And then one of them has to be doing separate movements at the same time. And during the animation process, one of them breaks, the whole thing can like mess up, and it can be very, very annoying. At least with my experience with, animating in 3D models, right? And with the way the Zenless team, has their stuff like super expressive and everything, I can see why this would cause a lot of trouble and annoyance. And take a lot of time to actually get down right.
柚叶和阿福在制作过程中，他们是两个相对
They're two independent models. Yep.
在战斗中呢，他们又存在着招式上的
Their skills and actions go together. Whenever Yasuo places her umbrella behind after an attack.
阿福都会做出伸爪子的动作，把伞接在自己的怀里。接伞的动作呢，会根据柚叶的攻击招式也会有一些。
Wait, so he catches the umbrella depending on the attack? That's actually a pretty cool detail, right? Bro, the Zenless team is goofy as hell. Bro just has an umbrella.
区别，在他做休闲待机表演的时候呢，阿福也会做一些符合他性格的一些小动作。在实际制作过程中呢，两个模型配合也会出现很多的 bug。狸猫这样的一个衔接动作，我们基本上都要花费几天的时间才能完成。我们之所以去努力打磨这些动作细节，只是希望让玩家能够感受到阿福是一个鲜活的、
living, breathing companion that fights alongside Yasuo.
战斗的伙伴。
Don't get scared now! Fire! Yeah. Salute and finish the enemy. For the time field name, I will never lose!
I actually do quite like Alice's animations. I do think they're pretty cool, but she's just like way less of an interesting character. Like she feels purely there for the goon. There are a lot of cool details with her, like how her sword is, fabricated out of the, W engine, right, and all that stuff.
爱丽丝并不是绝区零第一个以物理属性的一场代理人，我们希望能在强化这个角色的战斗爽感的同时，展现她的人设魅力。从角色本身的设定出发，爱丽丝是一个大小姐的形象。
Bear witness to the noble principles of the Timefield family.
虽然有时候也会有胆小的一面，但认真起来的时候，依然是充
An
满
aura of
优雅
elegance,
干练的
of
气
course.
质。我们想要把这种角色特质在战斗中呈现出来。
如果可以用弧线来概括简单
Jane's combat
的
style would be
话，那么
curves,
爱丽丝
but also
战斗
be
中
linear
的核心概念
strikes.
就是线性穿刺了。为了增强爱丽
Enhance
丝
the flow and
战斗
rhythm of
的
Alice's
节奏感
combat.
和节奏感，我们在她
He
的
added
许
quick
多
short
中
range movements and
加
dashes to
入
maneuver
快速的
skills.
小的位移和冲刺，同时伴随着更频繁的出招。此外，我们还为爱丽丝
She may
设
also
计了
design
一
an
个非常
extremely
帅气的
slash
巡
charge
招式
deck.
来
Okay.
扩大爱丽丝的
Play
战斗
satisfaction
手
on
法，并
battlefield.
作为终结一击。
That is a really cool attack, I will have to say.
我们希
That
望
one
玩
is
家
sick.
在操作爱丽丝战斗时，能从她的动作表现上获得视觉和心理上的正反馈，并且觉得她做出的动作是忠于角色人设的。
作为一个物理属性角色，我们想把爱丽丝的特
And
性
hiding the
获得
feel and
干净
flow of
利落的同
combat.
时，
Mhm.
又可以与
When
角色
teaming her
配
with
合
other
凸
agents
显角
while
色
pausing
的
out
角
the
色
special
感和
effects
打
to
击
their
感。
best,
对于爱丽
we
丝
also
的
create
很
an
多
after
帅气
image
优雅
effect.
的姿态，我们也会制作相应的
Any
彩
cool and
印
elegant
特效来凸
poses?
显这
Let's
些
spotlight
pose，
Alice
也会对一些
while
刺
exaggerating
眼
the effects
效
of
果做
her
一些夸
rapier
张化的处
attacks.
理，增强角色的打击感。在爱丽
Wait a minute. What is bro's mousepad? Bro? What is in your mousepad here? Is this Honkai Impact 3rd or is this Gun Girl Z? I wanna say it's a Hoyo mousepad. There's Ganyu, there's the Hercher of Thunder Raiden Mei. Obviously there's Bang Boo. I think that's Herta. I have no idea what oh, this is one of the slug people in Genshin. I forget what they're called. That's what that is. I think there's 2 of them on here, and there's Eos, or at least Bang Boo number 18, whichever one that is. It could be Bang Boo number 1. Wait, is Eos? I think Eos is 0. I don't know. Whatever. They've got different numbers. But yeah, bro, what is your mouse pad?
感，在爱丽
Also,
丝
nice custom keyboard.
发动
I've got a similar one. I mean, it's not like that. I have a like Japanese aesthetic one, because I'm a weeb. But yeah,
一些强力的攻击时，
I think that's a Zila Funko on the left side, something like that. And there's another Herta statue. This dude loves Herta. Oh, right here. So people took screenshots of this and have like been looking at some of the files in the game, and I do want to talk about this. I guess it's a point where I talk about this. So apparently upon visual enhancement, insane. In one of the photos in here, people have been talking about a few character details and a few other hidden characters that have been shown up. So this apparently makes an appearance somewhere in the video, right? Let me pull it up here. There we go. This apparently makes it somewhere in the video. Not sure what this is, but there seems to be a character in there that looks like they're wielding a big chakram or like a wheel, something like that. So that could be potential new character with a weapon. They're like green, so I haven't seen any characters with green in the recent roster of characters, so that could be a future character or something like that. According to this one person, one of the folders on here is listed with female avatar 2 Seed, which is talking about the big robot within the teaser trailer. If you've watched the like some of the other like 2.0 promotion material, right, that they've put out, which is very interesting because well, first off, Seed is a robot. This tells us that there's probably a small version of Seed that is a female, and that the robot is a suit in combat. But there's also a skin for Seed, so that's very interesting to see. They're saying it is most likely a skin because it's listed the same as like Ellen plus Ellen's skin, and apparently there is no Miyabi skin, which I know people have been talking about a lot because Miyabi has been shown in different outfits throughout the material and other stuff like that. So that's kind of unfortunate that there seems to be no Miyabi skin, or maybe they're just hiding it. But I would love to have like a shrine made in Miyabi. Give the goat some more stuff. No way it's gonna complain. That's just a closer look at that. And then I think there's one more like hidden detail within this video that Hoyoverse is hiding. Oh, yeah, apparently there's a hint that Luciana was also in there. Which, if you guys don't know, this is a really old character within Zenless's development cycle. They're effectively a nun. Like, you know the trope of like sexy nun? They're that, but like super extreme, right? The model was just straight up ugly. Needs a completely new model. But this is a character that's within the game. And they're supposed to be like a cultist, a part of the order, which is like another cult inside of Zenless. And so we'll see what happens with that character, if they're going to be added or not. It's kind of crazy that this is like one of the older characters that we know about that just has not been, has not made an appearance within the game. But they potentially could be showing up soonish, maybe. Don't really know. And then there's like a list of file names that has been shown here. Some of these we obviously know, like Ambi, Alice, Belle's outfit. This one is just, B, they can figure it out. This character right here is, I don't know how to pronounce this, I'm not gonna lie. Burgess? I really don't know. That one is Orpheus, right? She's got like multiple different names. I think one of the names was like Orpheus Magus Magustin, or because of the gun. I really don't know, but yeah. Bernice, Ellen, obviously Ellen's outfits. Longius, I think this is a new character. Luciana, Main City 2, Nostradamus, no idea what that has to do with anything. Obviously Seed Flower, Silver Ambi. This right here is Miyabi's name. Vivian, I don't know what this one is. Yazua. Actually, this could be Yanagi. This could be Yanagi, because this is Yazua, the other version, and then Yazua's weapon. This is Zhu. This could probably be Zhu Yuan. But yeah, that's the current list of names that this person had saw within this video. So I just want to point that out. There's a lot of interesting stuff coming up that is, kind of hidden by the devs, right? Within this video. Anyways, let's continue.
会生成剑气和剑光，来强化视觉的表现。同时，特效也是为角色本身而服务的，所以它所表现出来的效果也必须符合角色的设定。
Match the character design or hit impact.
打击感是一个综合的表现，它受到很多方面的影响，比如动作的节奏、音效和特效、手柄和屏幕的震动反馈，以及打击命中
hit frame on strikes and so on.
对
Yes.
不同的游戏来说，实现打击感
Whoa,
以及
hold
打
on.
击命中的定帧等等，对于不同
Oh, I thought that was Orpheus, I'm not gonna lie, but that's just Alice's hair. But yeah, animation rigging. It's crazy. There's a lot of moving parts, especially in a game like Zenless, where the characters are super expressive.
不同的游戏来说，实现打击感有不同的做法，这和每个游戏要表达的感受是相符合的。而对于爱丽丝来说，我们觉得它带给玩家的战斗体验是干净利落的。那么营造
Dude's desk is covered in so many things, bro. I'm distracted by what they're even saying here. The Ambi statue, the hand fondling balls, the controller. That's Chingy's W engine. I don't even know why he has that. Is that a thing of like vitamins?
这种感受的基础就是动作本身。爱丽丝的动作设计是非常有顿挫感，比如有一招
For example, this move that attacks according to a certain beat.
攻击，那么它的特效的表达和定帧的大小就会特意的往这个节奏上分配。在这一招的攻击收尾动作时，我们就会给角色大一点的定帧。
The frame lock of the action will also be longer, while the early phase of the attack,
这里可以给大家简单介绍一些有关打击帧的。
but strike frame. Okay. I'll let bro cook. All right, I'm not gonna try to like break that down.
知识，在我们玩绝区零操作代理人打击到敌人的时候，大部分情
In
况
most
下
cases,
代理
both
人
agents
和敌人
enemies
会
will
产生
trigger
一
a
个动画
freeze
性格
frame.
我们称之为定
We
帧。
call it
我
frame
们
locking.
给
We
定
divide
帧
the
分两
multiple
步
locks into
类
multiple
似
frames,
2
2 frames, 3
帧
frames, 4 frames,
3
5
帧
frames, and up.
5帧再往上。大部分时候
Most of the time, the frame lock agent enemies will have a different frame
例
rates.
如爱丽丝
For
的
example,
女
Alice's
手
considered
多
basic
面
attacks hit
别的
enemies.
敌人的定帧
The
会
freeze
比
frame will be
爱丽丝
set to
的
1
定帧
frame
少
fewer than
这样做
Alice's.
的目的是
The purpose of
让
this
敌
let the
人
enemy in
爱
their
丽丝
frame lock
先
or
结束
Alice
定帧并早一帧开始
started to
动
move
从
1
而
frame
先进
earlier
入
to
到
trigger
手
the
定时
enter the
动画
stagger
然后
animation
再被下一招
before getting
打
hit by
到
Alice's
再
next
次进
move
行
and
以此
doing frame
推
lock
进直
again.
到连招的结束。这样一来，一方面角色的关键帧 pose
There's
就会
keyframe
在
pose
玩家的
lingering
视
longer than the player's visual memory.
残留中定格的更久一点。另一方面，敌人
On the other hand, enemies would be able to move better
可以更多地
to the visual feedback of
展示
getting
受击的
hit.
反馈。虽然只是1帧的差距，但这样设置后，整段
The
攻击
rhythm
的
and
节奏
entire
是
attack
脱了
flows
质
perfectly
感
off
受
sync,
上也比较舒服。
making
当
it
然，
pretty
还有其他
noticeable.
影响
Of
打击感的
course,
元素，
there
比
are
如
elements that
手机
have
特效，
effect
爱丽丝
hit
攻击
impacts.
时会有动
Alice's
作特效。
attacks contain movement and light
光的
effects.
特效，攻击命中时，角
The
色
enemy
特
will result
效
in both the agent of the attack
会同时产生定帧，敌人
and
的
the
动作
attack being
他是
frame
上
locked,
榜一
along with the enemy movements and
特
effects.
效也是。但是受击特效是不受定帧影响
The
的，
image
它
effects
会
will
上
not be
线
frame
在
locked.
攻击
Rather, the effects will play out normally after the point of
命中的
contact.
点正常播放，这也是强化打击感反馈的一环。顺带一提，攻击命中的正频也是不受定。
There's a lot of small details like this that actually do matter within game development. It's all about the feel of things, and you know they want to emphasize how things feel to play out right. So yeah, that's about that.
影响。
作为一个可爱的突袭人，我们在战斗中会去尝试还原一些仿生行为，例如在爱丽丝发动闪避反击时，会有一个自增鹰的击击动作。此外，大家会发
I
现
do like
当
that
爱丽丝
dodge
发
counter. It
动
looks really
强力
cool.
时候，例如3段蓄力攻击，她会随手把
She
剑
tosses her
扔在
sword on the
地上
ground
然后从身后再掏出一
before
把
whipping out another
新的
fresh
剑
sword.
其实插在地上的剑是特效，而非独立的。
The sword on the ground is a special effect and not an independent model.
这样的好处是不需要
The advantage is that we don't need an extra stored model tied to the
把
character.
额外的武器与角色绑定。在游戏内，爱丽丝将
After
武
Alice
器
tosses the
抛出后
sword,
会在地面
special
上
effects will
参与
linger on the
一段
ground
时
for a
间的
while.
特效。同时，
Alice's
爱丽丝
weapon
手
hand will
中
be
的
hidden.
武器将被隐藏，然后会
She whips out a
从
brand new
背后
weapon
掏出
from
一把崭新
behind.
的武器，此时手中的武器将再次显现。所以实际上，我们只为爱丽丝做了
We only made 2 sword models
2
for
把剑的
Alice.
模型，能让她在
It allows to be
单手
used
实
in
践、
one
双手
hand
实践
stance.
或者是换手实践中
Been
合
stance
适
when
的
she
运用，
switches,
能让玩家感受到
giving the illusions that she has countless swords at her
爱
disposal.
丽丝有无数把剑可以使用。
另一个有趣的点，
I'm interested to point that personality-wise, Alice is a system
甚至
symmetry freak. Oh my god.
已经到了对称强迫症的程度，所以我们在爱丽丝的
You know, that's funny considering that she's got heterochromia with her eyes. The one thing about her that's asymmetrical.
很多技能动作和特效表现上做出了对称的元素设计，比如爱丽丝在释放连续技时，所有的剑光都是2道对称出现的。再比如爱丽丝的终结技也有对称的设计元素。
Does Bro just have a sword?
终结技进化结束的第1帧都会存在镜头角度偏移的，这个是由设计同学手动配置完成。
Manually configure the design to provide better visual presentation.
但唯有爱
But
丽丝
for Alice's ultimate, the first frame follows the
结
animation.
束后的第1帧镜头是不偏
Perfectly
离
centered
完
and
全
symmetrical.
对称的，并且拉高了镜头，让玩家看到地上对称的五芒星。五芒星在许多文化和文艺作品里也有神秘学的
Pentagram,
我
of
们
course.
觉得这也和爱丽丝所属阵营怪盗墓的格调
Just Spook Shack.
此外，为了
Additionally, to enhance
增强
the
爱丽丝
expressiveness of
3代
Alice's
系列的
3-stage
表
charge
现力
attack,
我们在
we've
进化
added
的
a
同时
Kitis
做
that
了类似
kaleidoscope. Almost said that wrong.
万花筒的效果，因为万花筒在任何角度上看下去都是完美对称的，就像爱丽丝期望中的自己一样。类似这样的对称设计，在爱丽丝很多技能上都能体现到。
Can you give a sneak peek at what weapon the next agent you're working on will use? Oh.
和爱丽丝一样，这位代理人也是使用剑作为自己的武器，但他们的剑有很大的区别。
Their swords are very
使用起来的
different,
战斗
as the
风格
way
跟
and
大相
style which
径
they
庭
wield their
可以说
swords,
下
which
一
can
位
say that the sword. What I can say is that the sword the next
代理人
agent
使用的是
uses
一把很大
is a
很大的
really, really big sword. Okay. So there's a lot of agents coming up that potentially could use a sword. Now we do know of one. I'm actually gonna pull this up because this is a character that I don't think a lot of people have on their radar. I think this character has a lot of potential to be really, really funny because it's a small character with a big weapon, and I believe that's what they mention here. Let me look for it. It was in their 2.0 teaser. Or was it in the live stream? No, it's one of these early. This one. Here we go. Season 2 preview. And it's going to be right here. This character. This character, now this is an axe, so not quite the description of a big sword, but this character has potential to be really funny because a small character, big weapon. I vibe with it. Plus, she's a pretty unique looking Thyron, all things considered, and I do like that. You know, the very different visuals for characters. It's nice having that, considering that in other Hoyo games, particularly like Star Rail, that everybody's just a human, right? There's no like massive diversity, but Zenless, of course, does have a pretty big, you know, diversity in terms of like character design, and I do quite like that. Now, there's also potentially these two. Now, with the knowledge that Seed is a female, this changes things, obviously. Uh, very interesting that Seed just has this big ass robot suit, despite, you know, being female. I mean, you could say Firefly situation. It's remained to be seen, but I do think that's just quite a big difference because this is a very massive model. There's Orpheus, who, I mean, potentially could wield a massive sword. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting her to be more so sword plus gun. So like she's dual wielding, she's got sword in one hand, gun in the other one because the tail's a gun. Or maybe she could have a big sword to swing it around and the gun shoots like after the fact, right? Kind of like how triggers, like hip guns, also fire, but there's a lot of characters here that have potential to work with this. Within this trailer specifically, though, there's not many other new characters, though, that I can remember. There is this one at the very end here, which, I mean, I kind of doubt. I mean, maybe that's the character they're referring to, but yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of characters. I don't think it's going to be any of the idols as well, because, again, there's 3 of them. One of them has a dual mace. Like, they've got, like, I think it's dual maces, or it's like dual hammers or something. Dual spike balls, whatever. The other 2, we have got no clue, but I'm expecting it's probably going to be more like Iron Man, because I believe one of them's a robot, right? So we'll see what they do with that. But yeah, there's a lot of characters coming up that are, you know, pretty interesting to see what they're going to do with. 3 times bigger than the user's height. And see, that's the one that I think is pretty interesting, is that if we're talking about like actual height difference, it's going to be kind of hard to like, it's not Seed, right? Like, that weapon's gonna be a bit too big for like visuals and animations. It could be one of these regular sized characters, but it would make sense that it is this, you know, girl right here. Oh yeah, there's also this guy, Kamiya. His name's Kamiya. I forget the guy's name, the wolf guy. I'm surprised this is like blue because he's got like red hair. This made a lot of people think of Moors, but it's not him. You can see his red hand in the bottom right. This one also doesn't work because we literally see his weapon right here. So, yeah, not sure who it's going to be. The sword, due to some reasons, the sword can't unleash its true potential yet. Again, that's hinting at a more fantastical element, which is why I think it could be that one girl at the very end of the trailer and not Orpheus, but you know, we'll see. But once it does transform into an ultimate weapon of mass destruction, let's see how it turns out in the future.
天哪，这是我现在可以说的吗？其实下一位角色
Next character to be super powerful on-field DPS.
战场输出的代理人，然后他的拳脚
And his martial arts skills are seriously off the charts. I do want to say something. I have looked at a couple of people talk about this, that apparently the Cian text was referring to female pronouns, but at the same time, I've seen it said otherwise, right? I just want to mention this because we don't actually know. Gentle reminder that third-person pronouns like blank in Chinese are mostly gender neutral. I don't know what the text is, but the Chinese lettering, right? Especially when spoken, it is indistinguishable from female-specific text, which can be exactly the same. We have been burned multiple times like this before in all Hoyo games. Translations tend to be difficult, tend to default to male. But I will say the translator for this might have actually done their due diligence and clarified the clarified the genders, as they used they, it pronouns for the other character and he for this character. So there's a good chance that there's a good chance it actually is male, but be very skeptical until this strong on-field martial artist DPS releases. So again, they could be referring to him. and this is what I want to mention. There is 3 students other than the MC at Shuibin Temple, right? The one dude has not been released, so it could be him, right? The dude with, like, the red dot on his forehead and like the fox stuff going on. He could be the character. Now that's pretty weird, all things considered. I'm not gonna lie, not because I'm saying he looks like a 4-star, but I just thought he was gonna release, and they're saying he's gonna be a strong on-field DPS. Um, so yeah, potentially could be him. Or if they are wrong here about the character in particular, then I have no idea who it's going to be, because now we've got character mentions about a sword. We've got character mentions about a strong martial artist, right? So there's 2 future characters that are pretty vague on what we're going to see from them.
功夫十分了得，而且他虽然平时慈眉善目的，但当他生气起来的时候，就
And I don't think it's going to be the one Fox dude, because they're saying he looks kind and gentle, but I mean, sure, he is, but he doesn't really fit that. And plus, he's got a sword. So it doesn't really work with martial arts. But, you know, we'll see what goes on.
完全是另一副面孔了。而且我们也预期说尝试一些比较新
We're trying out some new action-oriented mechanics.
的动作上的机制，希望能够点燃玩家们的动作智
We hope this ignites the combat fanatics in all of you.
慧。不过我觉得我对于
Regarding this character, probably have to come up with as many proposals as I did with Yasuo. So stay tuned, everybody. Future agents are still pretty far away. Yeah. Bro, drop that drip marketing already. July 16th. Yeah.
更喜欢爱丽丝还是右叶？
爱丽丝，
肯定右叶呀，
为什么呢？
因为我做的呀。我喜欢右叶，
我更喜欢爱丽丝。
都喜欢。
Both.
这问题一个比一个刁。
为什么爱丽丝不好看吗？
没有啊，右叶是我做的，我当然喜欢。
I create Yasuo, of course I like her more.
右叶
Yeah.
特效好在哪里？
这是在录的吗？
Am I currently being recorded? Wait, ask that again.
爱丽丝的特效和右叶特效哪个好？
我觉得各有千秋。
They're both unique. The team's being a little bit silly, but yeah, cool. Yeah, W Zenless team, keep putting in the good work. Looking forward to future units, right? Hopefully you found some of this interesting. You know, I do like to talk about this, you know, game dev stuff more often, as it is something that I'm getting into, obviously, as a, you know, career and all that stuff. So, yeah, if you liked this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, check me out on Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.